to see if it's wet enough to fire it. Like I'll do that with the paper towel, stick it down. If I see that it's moist,
Right.
then I know it's safe to fire.
I figure that coil gets moist within minutes. I
let
usually
mine sit overnight, a fresh coil.
Oh, Jesus, dude. You can let them sit for 3 or 4 minutes, and that's plenty. When I do it, hey, everybody, I don't know if we're live yet. It looks like we're live. It's me and Steve. Hey, everybody.
Hey. I remembered the microphone this time.
Let me finish my last thought there. I always take a pod rather than, like, obviously a brand new one. If I've still got this, I'll take a pod, fill it, and then I'll just let the new pod sit while I still puff on this one. Mm-hmm. But I've let it sit for as little as a couple minutes, and then you puff on it, and dude, that stuff soaks through that cotton so fast. Yeah. So anyway, we are here. We are live. Welcome aboard, everybody. I think I already gave me ma'am a little tug of the year. Oh, let me get my comments set up. And we are not doing a lot tonight, just going to do some feeding. We've both had a long day, but Steve was over here, so we figured we'd go live for a little while. Alan, how are you?
Oh, yeah. I can watch the live stream, too. Or at least keep up with the comments.
There are two of us. Pond Puppies, how are you this evening? Yeah, we're probably pretty toasted. We've been comparing weeds tonight. Hey, Eugene. I have got, what is it? Lemon cherry gelato is what I'm puffing on tonight, if I can find my lighter. And I don't know. Steve's got a couple different things, so I don't know what he's puffing on.
One of them was the strawberry something or other. It's pretty tasty, pretty good.
All right, let's get on with the feedings. These poor goldfish. I don't often come in here and hang out. And when I'm getting ready for the live stream, I'm in and out several times. And, of course, every time I walk through, they all swim up thinking they're going to get fed. And tonight we've just been in here for the last 20 minutes or so, and these poor goldfish are going mad thinking they're getting food. And we are working on it. Try to get as much of a view as possible with this stupid plant.
Yeah, I'll just take it.
You can just sit it out in the hallway somewhere. There you go. All right. I still have not ordered my flake food.
That's so cool how they go up in there.
Get through here.
Yeah, speaking of fish food, I'm gonna have to make a trip to the store. Really lowering my shrimp pellets.
Yeah, I always order mine from Amazon. It's cheaper. I get it like in big quantities. You saw that tub I had of the fish flake food, but I'm feeding the whole pond.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if I got a tub, I'd never have to buy fish food again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do have a lot of fish I got to feed every night.
Yeah, I have a 10-gallon shrimp tank and a 29-gallon show tank.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Any jumbo ear dragons? No. Blue Skittles, that sounds good. It's not great. It's good in the bong. Yeah, I was talking again today with Steve, who agrees with me. Steve has had the pleasure of smoking my homegrown weed.
on many occasions.
Oh, bummer, Shirley. Yeah, so Steve knows how good my weed can be. It doesn't always come out, spot on 100%, but even my, 7 out of 10 stuff, I still think is better than the shit I buy at my local store. And so today we were doing an actual side-by-side comparison, and there's just no question. My weed is just so much better than that store-bought stuff. And then, of course, the fact that you got to pay for it like that, that really fucking bites me in the ass is buying it. All right, I got my camera turned on, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot to zoom in on. And if you look over here closely, I think I pointed this out the other night, but you can see my kayak sitting there. I put that up there because I kind of wanted it to look like somebody's trying to paddle upstream, and I kind of wanted it to look like somebody pulled their kayak off to the side of the river so they could get out and camp for the night. So you can imagine that to mean whatever you want it to mean right there. But I like the placement of my kayak.
Yeah, that is cool. After you want a hell of a stream to paddle up.
I've never met anybody that was anti-bong. I know some people don't necessarily prefer a bong. They like the simplicity or ease of a bowl. I gotta go fill my pot up. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna fill a new pod right now because I need one anyway. But I have always been a bong hit person ever since I've been smoking. I mean, I literally started being a bong hit person when I was 13 years old, and it's always been my preferred method. I can smoke joints. They're all right. They're fun in, group settings and stuff like that. And, you can't go wrong with your handy dandy, wooden bowl in your pocket. But if I have my druthers, it's going to be a bong hit.
I love the convenience of a joint. Just, a little inconvenience to twist it up. But me, I'll twist a couple. I have a pack that I keep them in. So I always have one ready. With a bowl, you always have to have the piece. You always have the piece. Whereas with a doobie, when it's over, you put it in your ashtray or your cup.
Throw it out the window.
No. No, don't litter.
All right, we're going to let this soak for a minute or two, and then I'll show you how easy it is to hit on it. Did I tell you, and I'm talking to Steve here for a moment, or you all can listen, of course. Did I tell you about my serendipity where I accidentally mixed my flavors together and found a better one?
Oh, you're still mixing them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So if you remember, I was complaining about the Snickerdoodle, how sickeningly sweet it was. Yeah. But then I got that other stuff called Blue Bay, which is actually blueberry pomegranate vanilla.
That's a whole lot of shit.
I know it is because you can't just get blueberry apparently, but it's not bad. The
Fruit Monster has it, a plain blueberry.
I got blueberry custard from Monster, and it sucks because I don't like Monster.
You don't like the Monster?
No, I've gotten so many different Monsters, and I don't like any of them. The blueberry Monster, the blueberry custard isn't terrible, but it's not good either. I won't buy it again, put it that way. I'll go through what I've got, but I'm not buying any more.
Have you had the fruit, like each of the different varieties? Because they have like the custard monster, the fruit monster, there's different, like, I guess, flavor profiles that they have. Some of my favorite are in the jam monster. They taste like jelly, kind of like buttered toast.
Right. I think most of the ones I have been the custard monster. Again, the blueberry custard monster. And again, I don't like the custardy flavor. Anyway, I got the Blue Bay, and that was the one that was really dry, but had a nice flavor, but left that real dryness in my mouth. Well, I was doing them in separate pods, and then I would just switch when I wanted. And one day, one of the pods was about half full, and I topped it off with the wrong stuff just by accident. I thought it was the one. I grabbed the wrong bottle. And when I hit on it, I was like, oh, that's kind of nice, actually. So with a 50-50 blend, and then I can adjust as necessary, the dryness cuts down on the Snickerdoodle sweetness. Yeah. The Snickerdoodle sweetness cuts off that dryness. And the flavor, as much as that sounds like that's a lot of flavors, it really just kind of tastes like fruit with some cinnamon.
I love cinnamon.
Who doesn't?
That's weird.
It's definitely weird. All right, let me see where I am. So you tell them, Laura.
It's kind of like a toaster strudel with mixed berry jelly on it.
Okay. Whatever. To me, it just tastes sort of fruity with some cinnamon mixed in. I like it. Scotland in the 90s, it was cigarettes mixed with, I've never done the tobacco mixed with weed, and I never want to.
There was an old guy from the old neighborhood. His name was Steve. He did that.
Oh, that tower.
Was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that tower tank's going to definitely need to be cleaned. That's why haven't done it. Hey, Cornish.
Hey, Cornish, how are you?
Right, a spliff. I always thought a spliff was like weed that was like I thought a spliff was like a cone, but like a really big cone, like almost like a comically Rastafarian size cone, and that was called a spliff. And it was during a live stream that somebody pointed out to me, and of course I looked it up simultaneously because I'm not afraid to look things up and find out I'm wrong about things. And wrong I was. It turns out that a spliff is simply a 50-50 tobacco weed blend. And that's it. That's as complicated as it is. You roll it just like a joint. It's just a mixture of tobacco and weed. And that's what a spliff is. So I've never actually smoked one, but I have unfortunately had the misfortune to unfortunately have the displeasure of hitting on blunts before, and I fucking hate blunts. God, they're disgusting.
You still love them.
Blunts are so gross. Where the hell is my goldfish food?
For a while, I really enjoyed the flavored reps, just because I was smoking really shitty weed.
Yeah,
I needed something with some, at least some type of enjoyable flavor.
I do remember there was one time, one guy, I don't even remember who it was or where it was now. I just remember that there was one blunt that I smoked, because back then I didn't have any ready access to weed. This long before I started growing it myself. And so if somebody was offering me weed, blunt or not, I was going to smoke it. And I do remember there was one that was actually, I enjoyed smoking it. It had a nice flavor. It wasn't harsh on my throat. It didn't make me want to throw up after, because to me, every blunt I ever smoked was either in like a real cigar, tobacco leaf wrapping, which you're not supposed to inhale. You don't fucking inhale cigars. Or it was like the OG blunt, the Phillies blunt, which is that brown papery stuff. Yeah. And then they cut that open and put the weed in and wrap it back up. So it wasn't even tobacco. It was that brown, I guess it's technically sort of tobacco paper. Like when you smoke cigarettes now, that's not actually tobacco. They take the plants and they completely, everything, stems, all of it. It gets all ground up. They do a chemical wash. They strip all the chemicals and shit out of it. They turn that into like a concentrated liquid. They pulp the plant and they turn it into like a really crude, thin sheet of paper. Then they dice that paper. That's why your tobacco looks so finely, evenly cut in a cigarette. It's literally like paper shredder paper. And then they spray it with the liquid concentrate spray of all the fucking chemicals, plus the stuff they add to it. And then they wrap that paper up in a cigarette paper and sell that as tobacco. And that's what an actual cigarette is. It's not. Makes me want to go back to it's cigarettes are not actually delicious. Like ground tobacco rolled up in paper. It's paper rolled up in paper, but it's paper that's made out of tobacco and it's been sprayed with, I'm so glad I quit smoking cigarettes. I love my nicotine.
How many years in?
Like 15 years.
Freaking awesome, dude.
Another, how are you?
Wow. 47 months. That's awesome. Oh, let me check mine.
We had some pretty big thunderstorms move through last night.
Yeah, I think they came through my way.
I never
it was
thought,
like
I
quarter to
wasn't
one.
saying that you were an amateur. I do, Nether. Steve is here. So I am happy to say that the roots on this peace lily still look really good. I don't think the goldfish have done anything to it at all. I still not getting it to like hang in there and float properly. So maybe I'll think about doing something with that at some point tonight. But I don't really know what to do with this to get it to stay where I want it. I guess I can try pinching it in there a little tighter and taping it down. The other night when I was doing this, the tape got wet and wasn't sticking. So let's try doing this.
Three years, Dave.
Oh, look at that. 3 years. Well, pipe cleaners might work. I'll have to, like, I'm having two different issues. I don't want to pinch the plant the way I'm doing it right now. I'm just kind of, you can see the bow in the piece of metal because I've literally got it pinched in there. That will kill the plant eventually if I keep it squeezed in the pressure like that. But the roots are floating. So I need to add some weight to the roots, and then I need to find a way to secure the plant. And, you know, I'm probably going to wind up taking it out of the middle and we're going to put it up against the back glass and just let it grow across the back because it's a peace lily. I did get this one specifically. I've got, you know, I could go upstairs and get peace lilies. I got a million of them around the house, but I don't have any narrow leaf lilies. And so this one, I did notice in the store that it's got these really slender leaves on it. I really like the way it looks. We don't have any peace lilies that are like this. So it was $6. I figured it's worth it. If I have that up against the back glass at some point, it's a peace lily. I mean, those leaves are definitely going to be out, you know, in front of that tank. We're still going to get shade down in the tank. You're certainly still going to be able to see the roots in the back. And so it'll be easier to make some sort of mount that I can just hang on the back of the tank. You know, the half the hanging unit will be behind the backdrop, so you won't even notice it. All you'll really see is the plant in the tank. So I'll work something out. Oh, I don't mind when the snails are on the filter. They actually help keep the surface of the filter clean. Are you saying hang on the back filter and then let it grow out of the hang on the back? That's not a terrible idea. The roots would outgrow it really fast. I would have to have it in something that the idea is I want to see the roots in the water. So I need to create something that's going to be like a frame that it'll be in, and then the roots will just be able to grow out and through it. So over time, you won't see the framework anymore. You'll just see the roots being exposed. Think about like an orchid in one of those little plastic cups and how all the air roots grow out through all the little cracks. And eventually you just don't even see the cup inside it anymore. So we're going to go with something like that. Hey, Phil's fam. Yeah, those are all good grow out of the tank plants. Let it root into sphagnum. That's not a bad idea. I don't really need it to root into anything, though. Let's see. No, definitely not putting shrimps in here. All right, I can maybe do that. Art, I really don't think you need to worry about it. I can come up with something easy enough. Yeah, exactly, Cornish. Those bamboo stalks stay very compact. This, again, with being a peace lily, in time, I don't know how long, but in time, these roots are going to be touching the bottom. It's going to be, out to here. It's going to be a chandelier of roots in the tank if the goldfish don't eat them. That root ball will get massive, and that's what I want. So I'll work something out. Oh, I see what you're saying, Laura. Put it in there like packing material to prop it up and pad it. Yeah, pothos roots are insane. Pothos roots will swallow your tank, as you're saying. There's no doubt about that. All right, let us move on to the next tank. Remember, everybody, we're not going to be doing a long show tonight. We're just going to go around, get everybody fed. Steve hasn't been home from work yet. I haven't sat down since I got home. So, yeah, we're just going to do the feeding and call it a night. All right, let's start with the flakes. Actually, let's get the spotlight turned on and see if we can't brighten these fish up a little bit.
Yeah, because they really, really sparkle when that light hits. It doesn't quite come through on camera as much. But man, in person, is it impressive.
That's the one I really want to see in the light is the cichlid. He's getting so big.
He's what, at least a good 8-9 inches?
Yeah, he's probably solid 8, maybe more. I don't know. I'd say 8.
I've caught smaller fish than that.
Dude, I've caught smaller fish than like fucking rainbow fish. You know how tiny some sunfish can be. Yeah, probably about 7 to 8, somewhere in there. 8's pretty big, dude. That's, I'd say between 7 and 8. Hang on, let me get him more straightforward. There we go. Maybe 8 to 9. He was at an angle before, and it was kind of hard to tell. He's definitely from tip to tip. He's probably pushing 9 inches now. Damn, I didn't know he was going to get that big. I'm glad I put him in the 125.
And he is fabulous.
Hey, fish guy. Not sure what you're asking me, Alan. What upper light will it get? I'm not sure what you're asking me there. Yeah, the angelfish will definitely. It's still a cichlid. Yeah, I know, Laura. Me and Steve were talking about that earlier. That Flo used to be the big fish in this tank, and now she looks small even compared to some of the silver dollars. I mean, that angelfish there is not a small angelfish. And, that's probably a fish you're more familiar with seeing on a regular basis. And then look at that angelfish compared to some of those Timu discus. You'll have to ask Steve that one, Cornish. Kendra, how are you? I was just wondering about you the other day. How are the girls doing?
I'm definitely not getting a channel.
Janice, hello. Tonight we're just going to be doing a feeding. Steve's here. We both had long days, and so we're not doing a whole lot tonight. Oh, natural light for the peace lily. No, there's no natural light down here. They will be artificially lit. But peace lilies do really well in very low light, and so I would be in the position of putting too much light on my peace lily with it near those spotlights. It's definitely not going to get too little. Yeah, I'll check it out, Art. Well, Fish Guy, that is an answer or a question that requires a little bit of nuance in its answer. If you're starting from scratch, like you don't have another tank you can borrow filter material from or anything like that, and you're just starting with nothing, then if you do it au natural, in other words, if you just set the tank up, let it start running, maybe put a little bit of fish food in there, maybe put a little ammonium nitrate or something like that in there to kind of get the cycle started, and then you just wait and keep feeding it. It takes 6 weeks maybe to do it that way. If you set a tank up and then you've got another tank where you can steal some filter material or something like that, you can have it functionally cycled for a small bioload within hours, honestly. You can kind of put the fish in it almost right away, provided you've got some filter material or you've taken some substrate, out of another tank or whatever. So au natural is going to be about 6 weeks. If you've got material to work with, you can do it almost immediately. Now, if you want to spike the cycle and just get it going quicker, you can try using those enzymes that come in a bottle that are supposed to get the cycle going. I've tried that on a few occasions, and I've never seen any difference whatsoever. So I don't trust them. I don't go with that. At this point, I got so many tanks and, filters and stuff that I can set a tank up and get her running immediately. But during my process of learning the hobby, I learned to do it the au natural way, the very long, slow, patient way, because it's a good lesson for the hobby. It teaches you to wait and to be patient and to just give things time. If you set a tank up and you throw fish in it that afternoon, that's not how the hobby works. You're kind of setting yourself up for these rapid expectations of instant gratification. And it's not. It's just like gardening. You set up the plants and whatnot. It takes months for them to fill in and for the gaps to close. And, by midsummer, you have this nice, beautiful garden. It's the same way with the fish tank. If you're going to just slap the thing together and get it running, you can do it, but just don't let that set your sort of expectations for how the hobby is supposed to go. Remember, nothing good ever happens fast in fish keeping. Learn it, know it, live it.
10-gallon tank. I took a big chunk of the substrate out of my 29 as a good base. I pulled the filter material out and did a new filter. So all the, the good bio rings, and pulled that out and then just put new ones in the running tank. Because it's just, it was running. It's been running for years. Like it would have to be an absolute catastrophe for that thing to crash. And it's minimal maintenance. I probably change water every other month or so. Nothing massive, maybe 30%.
Well, that sucks, Kendra. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I'm glad the girl's doing okay, at least. Oh, you're quite welcome there, Fish Guy. Hey, TK, how are you? I wouldn't say they chase each other, but they jostle for position and, have their little squabbles. Imagine like the way black skirt tetras act, but just scale it up to discus, and that's pretty much the way they behave. All right, let us move it on to the next tank. You want to kill that light for me there, Steve?
Yep.
I appreciate it. I've still got this stupid tub of water sitting on the floor, so we're going to have to set the camera back here. I'll zoom you guys in a minute. Let me just get it set up proper. And then I'll tighten it up a little. Oh, that's not very proper, is it? I can't see my damn... You're kind of tilted a little. Yeah, I really liked the way I had it set up before. but I was using my 40 as a table, and I want to stay away from like using it as a table again. Plus, I spent money on this one to have a table. Nope, that's too small. That's too big. There we go. Just right. You're still a little crooked, but you can fucking live with it.
You put a matchbook under one side.
Just consider me an artiste. There's your Dutch angle for the evening. Because I'm artsy.
Remind me what the name of the beta.
The No Face?
No.
I did never even name that one, did I?
You didn't name that one?
Did I?
I don't know.
I don't think I did. I don't remember naming it. I might have.
Betas are unique enough to name.
Oh, well, that's good at least. Yeah, they ought to start paying you to be there. I don't know. Names for me usually are just sort of inspired. I like the idea of like sitting down and thinking up a name. And every time we do, like even when we think of a name for a cat or whatever, we seldom actually call it by that name by the time it's an adult. It's got some whatever we fucking call it. Like it might be based on its name. Like I call Little Omen the Little Man or Little Man or something. But that's what I call him. Like, you know, but the vet has his official name, you know, in the documents when we take him down. So the idea of like sitting down and just thinking of like, what would be a good name for this? Like I either say like, oh my God, I'm going to call that fish whatever, you know, or just some funny name is like the Great Wizard Queequeg. Nothing about that fish made me think it looked like a wizard or anything, but like I was just having a good time with that phrase.
Interesting phrase.
And then I'll explain it to you what it actually means, but I'll do it off camera.
I imagine it's a Who thing.
It comes from Doctor Who, but it's a Latin phrase.
Oh.
It's got to do with linguistics and language. But I got it from Doctor Who. It is funny, makes me laugh. And if any fish is a great wizard in fish form, I think that's the way it would take. I made it. Did you see the meme I made of the Great Wizard Queequeg?
I did not.
Let me find it.
Oh, that is awesome.
All right, everybody, let me show you my meme that I made of the Great Wizard Queequeg. So there you go. That's the Great Wizard. And we will be looking at her tank here shortly. In fact, I think we can probably move on because this tank is just basically like looking at a garden with a couple little fish swimming around in it. And this one's not going to be a lot different, but it just has a little more variety of fish swimming around in it.
That one looks like it needs a haircut.
Yeah, this tank is definitely in need of a haircut. All right, let me zoom out on this so you can see a little more of the tank. All right, that was just a weather alert. I don't need to worry about that at the moment. It's probably just going to tell me it's going to be foggy in the morning.
Dude, it's been foggy every morning.
Yeah, it's been foggy all day. It was foggy when we were just outside smoking that joint, which is good because that means warm air is hitting all the snow and shit that's on the ground, and that cold snow is making the moisture condense out of the air. But I don't know if you noticed, but we still have snow in the yard here.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a couple spots in the neighborhood that have snow, but that's from
plowing.
A
Yeah,
large amount of the neighborhood was put into that spot.
Yeah, nope. We just still have snow on the hill. It hasn't melted yet because it doesn't get enough sun. And over at the top of the yard where the bamboo is big, like that's like deep shade under the bamboo, and that's still got snow on the ground.
Yeah, there was a pub at the bottom of our neighborhood where most of it got plowed into because it was just a massive parking lot. The boatyard next door took it over. But we would always it was steep enough to where you could sled down it. We would build igloos out of it. Like it was epic. A mountain of snow.
Where did Pingu come from, Cornish? Is that like named after something? Is that some anime character, video game character, or something? Oh, geez, I don't even know how to pronounce that fish guy. Yeah, the PetSmart or the Petco, they always do those big sales. I'm trying to get rid of tanks. I've got a 60 that I'm donating to the Restore. I don't know if I mentioned that. I know I talked about it on my Wednesday live stream for my members, but that 60 I got rid of that I was trying to find a home for. I did speak to the people at the Restore, and they said, something like that they would take. And so we got a home for the 60. So I figure some afternoon we can do that if it's early enough in the evening, or I can just whenever. I thought about taking it out tonight and just putting it in my truck, because Chrissy and I are going over to the Westminster tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what? Nah, it might rain tonight. I don't want that stand sitting out there, and It's not hurting anything where it's sitting. We'll get it there at some point. But I do have a home for that.
I'm always down.
Oh, Pingu Guppies? Never heard of that. Oh, okay. I figured it came from something, Cornish. Oh, that's the fish's name. Okay, I thought it was the species of fish. I got you. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it either. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to try to pronounce that. I'm not real good with the Nordic names. And the next tank has not the majority of my discus. I do have a 125 that's got a lot of discus in it, but the next tank we're going to look at here right now actually has my most beautiful discus. This fish is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I was looking at him earlier. Just a good look. He is freaking awesome.
So I'll try to do a little zoom in once they get settled in and I get some food in the tank. If the discus sits in one spot long enough, I'll zoom you in on it, and you'll get to see how truly gorgeous that discus really is. Well, you really won't, because the camera never does them justice.
That angelfish is no slouch either.
Nope, it's not. But it don't pop like that discus does. That ain't no Temu discus. That's an Amazon discus. That's brand name, baby.
I really love that Raphael. I think it's so cool. And he's a tank too. That is one big fish.
Oh, that's all right, Laura. I've given up on stop signs for the most part these days. Your mangoon there? Your mangoon there. All right, I can see that. Yeah, that's a cool catfish. And its size doesn't really convey either. You don't really get a scale for how beefy that catfish actually is.
Yeah, it is an absolute tank.
Steve and I went out to the boat launch this afternoon. The Reservoir's open, like you can take your boats out there, but unless you got one of those boats that's got the ice skis on the bottom, you ain't gonna be going anywhere. Not only was the water absolutely ridiculously low, the there you go.
Yeah, some of
Do
that
books on
ice.
tape. Yeah, the ice was thick. I mean, right at the shoreline, it was melted. You know, where the sun's hitting the rocks and everything. But I stuck my hand in, and I was thinking the edge of it was going to be like thin. Um, the edge was like 3 inches thick, so the middle was probably still a foot of ice in it. It's going to be a while before anybody's out there paddling around, so I'm not in any big hurry to get my
Yeah, we chucked a few fairly substantial rocks. Mine was about the size of a softball, and it didn't make a dent. A couple
yeah, it
chips,
just bounced. Yeah, it just bounced and rolled across the ice. I mean, it landed with a thud. It didn't even sound like thin ice or anything. It just landed with a thud. If we could have jumped and gotten over that initial little thinner area, we could have easily walked around on that, no problem. And it's the whole reservoir. Like there's no like middle channel where the water's flowing and it's ice free. Like it's just ice. You could walk from one side of it to the other. So again, I'm not in any huge hurry to get my stickers anytime in the immediate future.
I would love to put the kayak on the ice though.
Skid around on it.
Right.
Well, yours sits flat. Mine's got the V bottom,
Right,
and so I can't
you'd
sit.
be flopping all over the
I
place.
have to be floating to sit upright.
And I got the channels. I could bolt like roof racks on them and sharpen them. I'd have skis.
Oh, I got that little cheapy kayak. That thing's flat as shit on the bottom.
There
Oh
you
no,
go.
it's got that weird bulb in the front, so I'd still rock back and forth. I still wouldn't sit flat.
I thought that it was flat enough.
It's flat along the middle, but the front has that weird bulbous part. It's
Does it
supposed,
go down?
yeah, it's a big thing on the front that sticks down about 6 inches. It's
I
designed
thought it
to,
was still level
yeah.
with the keel.
No, it's right up front. It's designed to basically like channel the water around to make it a little more, basically to make it not an inner tube,
Right.
but it paddles like
Yeah,
an
I
inner
wouldn't
tube.
take that on the Susquehanna.
No, I wouldn't either. I might consider that one, even though I wouldn't. But conditions wise, I would consider that little cheapie to do the Patapsco up to the viaduct or something.
I think you would be better with the Pongo.
Oh, of course I would, because the other one sucks and the Funko is nice. But the point is that conditions wise, I would feel comfortable enough in that. Dude, I took that out. What's the place with all them redneck houses, like way up north, and you get up above the dam if you paddle out into the
Rising Sun?
I get wherever it was. I went out there where
Muddy
you can
Creek?
Muddy Creek. You can paddle upstream and go past all the like houses on the
Rising
hills
Sun's
and
on the other side.
yeah, I was on Muddy Creek. I paddled out into the water, and it was choppy as shit, dude. I paddled.
Oh yeah, dude, that's deep water.
I know. I paddled out in that, and I got, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile out into it, and I was looking at the other side because I was thinking of crossing it, and it was just getting choppier and wavier. And I mean, it was the kind of waves where I was losing sight of the other shoreline. They were like, I was going up and down that much, and I was in that little piece of shit, dude. And
I would have been terrified.
I wasn't relaxed, but I wasn't scared or panicky, but I was definitely alert.
I did that when I had a 10-footer, and I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was alert. I was very uncomfortable. And at that point, I decided this is fucking stupid. I'm out here by myself. And so I turned around and paddled back in. And then I've never been back to that place again either because it was either shitty up in the channel with all them stupid fucking hillbilly houses, or it was terror out, out on the open seas, out in the deep, channel with the crazy waves and everything, which I never even got that far. I could see whitecaps and shit out in front of me. I stopped when I got to where I was coming out to whitecaps. Yeah.
It's a deep cut channel. Like there's wind all the time.
Aquarium Boss. I am smoking lemon cherry gelato. We weren't skipping them. They were bouncing and rolling. Big muddy river. Everybody's probably got a muddy creek somewhere around their place. And if you ever want to listen to really good music, listen to Muddy Waters.
Yeah, Muddy Creek itself. All
right, let's move on.
Deep, but the Susquehanna that it connects to is massive, massive river.
Yeah, we're not going to bother looking at the 29. It's still all boogered up. It's just got the angelfish in there, so not a lot to look at. We'll finish up with the Great Wizard's tank. I have yet to do any work on this tank. That was going to be on the schedule for tonight, but it didn't work out. So we're not even going to really spend a lot of time looking at this tank either. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just move on to the discus tank. We'll get this one fed. And then we'll finish up with the Great Wizard, and we can do some close-ups, and that's just really satisfying. That's such a cool fish. I really enjoy looking at it.
Yeah. And you're pretty much like 80% sure it's female?
Yeah, I'm 95% sure it's female.
Do they male female get about equal size, or does one get substantially bigger than the
Calm
other?
down, everybody. Geez. I think they're about, honestly, I don't know. I don't think that the males are, one's particularly larger than the other. I think it's one of those, like the females tend to get thicker in the middle than the males do, or something like that.
But similar size.
Yeah, but I think it's the shape of the fins is the real telltale whether it's male or female. I don't think it's an overall size. And if it was overall size, you kind of fucked, because you got to wait until they're full grown.
Yeah.
And not all fish get the same damn size, just like people. You're, 4 inches taller than me?
Mm-hmm.
We both fall well within the range of normal human, So I've said that before. If you had to, think of Yao Ming and those pro ballers, fucking Shaquille O'Neal or Shaq, they're exceptionally large, but they're not mutants, So if you were a space, specimen collector and you were selling little humans at your, pet store, you'd say maximum size is 7 feet or, 7'6", because some of them do get that big.
Right. It's
not the average, but that's how big some of them can get. And so you always have to put that maximum size on the label, but they don't all get that big, So even if you had a Berkshire that you've had for 10 years and it just doesn't seem like it's getting any bigger, you could have a different one that's younger, but already larger. A lot of it depends on how much you feed it when they're younger, how warm of the water you keep it in, and then, of course, the animal's genetics. But, again, the fish are also indeterminate growers, so they always continue growing. So it's really hard to tell. And when they say, well, these get bigger than those, unless you've got a group of them together and these are noticeably smaller, like when you look at spiders, like, okay, that little teeny tiny one's the male and that giant one above it's the female.
Yeah,
you can tell. You can tell when it's something like that, but to say that this fish tends to get a little larger than that one, well, I don't, got to have a group of them to compare, first of all.
Yeah.
I can't look at a single fish and say, well, that, I guess, looks bigger than
the one I saw at the store.
Yeah, exactly. It looks bigger than a picture I saw of another one. So you can't really go by that. But the fin shape is definitely something you can go on. Red Eddie, how are you doing? Let's see. Probably Cornish. I don't do them anymore, not because I don't enjoy them. I just can't afford them. I finally canceled my chocolate bar subscription, and then I went ahead. I was going to wait for one more bottle of the syrup, but my subscription was for 2 bottles at a time, and that would have been another $75. And I just don't have $75 to spend on that right now, so I had to cancel my subscription.
Are these related to snakehead at all?
I don't think so. These are polypterus. I don't know what kind of fish a snakehead is.
think it's like China, something China.
I don't have any idea. I can look it up. Oops, sorry everybody. Trying to close out my phone, and there we go. Am I looking up species?
Yeah, because I know they reclassified the Chesapeake Bay snakehead as the Chesapeake China to make it sound more appealing, to get a market for it, put it on menus.
Snakeheads are members of the freshwater perciform fish family, Chinidae or Chanidae, Channidae. So they're Chanidae. So Chesapeake Chanidae. That fucking, the alliteration, that rolls off the tongue. That's nice.
I still call them snakehead.
Yeah, I think everybody will still call them snakeheads. But the snakeheads have such a negative connotation because of the fear hype. Can you hit the light switch on the side there? All right, everybody, we're going to move on to the final tank of the evening.
The main event.
Yeah, I want to start winding down. My back hurts. I want to.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, shit, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're already an hour in. I was only thinking about doing an hour, but we're here, so
we're right on time with an hour.
Yeah, we'll give this tank a little while. All right, let me throw some food in there first, and then I'll get you zoomed in. We're going to stick with the blackworm pellets because the blackworm pellets tend to sink straight to the bottom, and I can kind of keep them right here front and center, whereas the vibrobites tend to float around and swirl on their way to the bottom, and they get scattered all over the tank. This way I'll be able to just zoom you guys right on in.
She didn't try to gulp any as they were floating by.
I've seen her eat from the surface, but I've never seen her take anything out of the water column. She's not real good with that. She's got terrible vision, first of all. And so she has to know it's there, and then she's quick. Like if she's hunting, she's like a ambush hunter. You know, she'll lay still, and if the shrimp touches her face, basically, she can grab it. But I've never seen her like chase after something or go after something in the water column or anything like that. As far as I can tell, she's almost blind. She literally sniffs her way and feels her way around the tank. She's not blind. She does have eyes, but not very good ones.
She kind of bumps. It like bumps at the ground a little bit, and then.
Yeah, she's always bumping into the glass. Robert, how are you doing this evening? When you say, does anyone like Cookies the dispensary, is Cookies the name of the dispensary? Not sure what you're asking there. My dispensary is called Vera Life, and I hate that fucking place.
Well, there's a brand cookies that you can buy at Vera Life.
Well, like the cookies and cream cookies, or is it like
it's the cookies brand. It's
okay.
It's the white label, blue letters.
I got you.
Cookies.
Like there's a brand called Hash.
That's, Dispo. Just like Calta, there's a dispensary.
I got you. No, I've never had them then. I don't even know what the brand that I've got right now is. I usually buy the cheaper stuff. It's probably their fucking store brand. I think it is their store brand, honestly. They have two of them. They have a high-end store brand and a low-end. And they always tell me the one, oh, no, this is Matter. I don't think Matter is their store brand. I don't know. Matter, they do a lot of advertising for Matter when you go in there. And so Matter might be a sponsor or an owner or something. But there's maybe it's Matter is their store brand, and then the other one, I can't remember the name of it, but it looks like generic. It's so cheap, it's low priced, and they always tell me, "Oh no, this is our good brand." Like, well, why is it cheaper than the other stuff? The Matter is the one that's more expensive.
Right.
But I assume that the Matter is their store brand because they advertise the fuck out of it, dude. They got the shirts
each
and
store has
yeah. Again, I don't know if it's
My
corp.
Health for Life there with MTX.
Yeah.
They're under the same umbrella.
Yeah, I don't. Again, so I don't know how it works. I don't know if they're the owners of it and they have to have a subsidiary company to sell it because of legal reasons, or. But it's clearly their brand. It's the one that they promote and they sell.
If you made Coca-Cola and then you had a store, obviously you can sell your Coca-Cola cheaper, and you can also sell it to other people that also sell soda pop.
Yeah, but there could be rules saying that if you make Coca-Cola, you can't have a store. You know,
Right,
just like with milk, if you can produce the milk or you can bottle the milk, but you can't do both. You got to do one or the other. And so there could be some like Matter is the national company, but it has to be locally owned store. And so they do it through Verilife is owned by, it could be something like that. But again, Matter, when I think of store brand, I think of like Great Value at Walmart, which is the cheapy store brand. So I don't mean it in that regard. I mean it in like that's the one they promote. It's not cheap. It's not, but it's the one that they just advertise the shit out of and sell the most of, and they have the most variety and selection of. And then you get other stuff too. But Matter is what is just all over the place when you go in there. And again, I'm not a big fan of my store weed. My shit is good. I grow the dank stuff.
Definitely do. We haven't taken a dab all day.
I got nothing to dab.
Oh, you don't?
No, I haven't had anything to dab in a week and a half. And my last 2 dabs I've been saving for like a special occasion, and I did like 1 dab at a time, and that was gone like over a week ago. So I almost had to reclaim at this point, dude.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I can get another bag of weed or something cheap, then I kind of need to. I've probably got enough weed to get me till that one's done, but I would have to just start working on it. I want to dry it properly. I want to cure it, before I even start hitting on it. So
I got a whole bunch of points, loyalty points at my local disco. I can probably get cheap bags.
All right. We'll work something out. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to start winding it down here. So any last thoughts or good nights? I'll give you some Steve view here for a minute. Actually, let me unzoom you before I go moving the camera around.
Yeah, that's zoomed in on me. It would be too much, Steve.
Yeah, nobody needs that much, Steve. All right, everybody. I'll put the camera over here in what is my new first positions. Oh, every time I do this, I bang it into my pour stand. When I switched out from the 60 gallon that I had put over here, and we have this 75 now, it's a different stand. The other stand had a gap at the bottom, and I could slide the edge of my tripod underneath of it and get it a little further away from myself. But now it sits on the floor flush all the way across, and every time I slide it over there, I bang it into it. And, of course, all the goldfish get scared and scatter around. Oh, Shirley, what timing? Well, at least you made it back to say hey, and you didn't come back for the show to be over. So there's the big Steve-O, everybody.
I had a good time.
And
didn't really do much.
No, we didn't, but we knew we weren't going to, so that's okay. I got a question here on private asking me about my shrooms, so we can wrap it up by talking about my mushroom bags very briefly. The little bag that I had injected with my last bit of Golden Teacher, if you'll remember, I put the water in the syringe and shook it up to try to get any last spores out of there. After a month, I still wasn't getting anything. I did get a little initial growth, but I messed with it, and I think I ruined it. But after a month of nothing, I finally gave up on that one, and I did inject it with some of the Jedi Mindfuck spores a couple of days ago. And so I'm going to let that sit for a while before I check it again. But the other one, the big bag that I did inject with the Jedi Mindfuck spores, that actually had mycelium on the front and growing on the bottom. It wasn't real thick yet, but it was a lot of it there. And so I did a little bit of crunching around, and then I put it back. And that, again, was a couple days ago. I did this both at the same time. And so I'm going to let that sit for another week. I got to learn to leave that shit alone. I want to go check it every day or whatever. I need to just let it do its thing for a couple weeks.
Think about it similar to a fish tank.
Exactly. Just stop fucking with it, and it'll do its thing. So we're waiting to see if the second inoculation took. I don't see why it wouldn't. I have figured out, if you'll remember, I was complaining that with the syringe that's got the syringe that clearly works, has that sort of gray material, almost looks like frog eggs, kind of suspended in a liquid. And no matter how much I shake it, that gray mass just sits there. And so I would have to inject a pretty good amount to get some of that gray mass out, which I assume is where the spores are. What I've started doing, though, is before I inject it, I actually draw the plunger back to put a little air in there. And then once there's a gap, I can then shake it, and it spreads that gray material all through the liquid. I can then just inject a little bit of that liquid, and I can clearly see that gray material going out, the end of it. And so if I do that, I should be able to get at least 4 bags out of each syringe, maybe 5 bags out of each syringe. And so that's my new technique. So I've tried that on the first bag. That took. I now tried it on that second small bag, and we're waiting to see if that one took, because it's only been a couple days. And so that's my mushroom update. So the soonest I'm going to have mushrooms again is, again, a solid month from now, maybe 6 weeks from now, before I'm, eating mushrooms again. But oh well.
Well, at least you're getting them to take. Because I know you were losing hope on that one.
Yeah, that was, it turned out just nothing. I'm just not going to buy those mushrooms from that company again. I thought about trying to get my money back and sending them an email, and then I just decided, fuck it, I bought some mushrooms online that didn't work. Oh well, I know not to buy from them anymore. So never buy from, now I can't remember the name. They're similar names, so I don't want to give you the wrong name, so I won't say which name not to buy from. But I will tell you who you can get spores from that I guarantee you will work, because I've gotten them twice now, and they're good stuff, as soon as I find out the name of it. Oh, it's Sporeworks that you need to avoid. Don't waste your money on Sporeworks, but Spores MD is the good one, I'm pretty sure. Hope I didn't get that backwards, because I usually get stuff like that backwards.
Well, 50-50 chance.
My weight has stabilized, and my stomach feels fine now. So it really was a combination of just not eating much from depression and my stomach being torn up from the ibuprofen. So I stopped taking the ibuprofen. My stomach feels better, and I've just been making sure I eat more and a little bit healthier. And so I haven't started putting weight back on yet. But I'm not losing weight anymore. I'm about 172 now, which again was, me and Steve were talking about it before the show. That was like high school was the last time I was 172. Literally high school was the last time I was in my 170s. So yeah, so I feel fine. I'm not worried about it. Down to 165, and you're taller than me, aren't you?
I would be a rail at 165.
Yeah. Well, you're what, like 6'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like 5'10" or something. So you got 4 inches on me. 5'11". So yeah, you're taller than me.
I float around 205.
So damn, Ark, you must be looking skinnier than me. 165 at 5'11". That's pretty.
Yeah, that's thin.
I'm 172 at 5'10". So, all right, everybody. It looks like most of you are calling it a night at this point anyway. I'm down to a couple of people left. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. I hope you all had a good night tonight, and we'll see how I feel come Sunday. Pencil me in. You can set the notification. If I go live, you'll get a notification. If not, I'll see my members on Wednesday. Otherwise, I hope you all had a good night tonight. And I'll see you soon on the next one. So long, and thanks for all the fish. You want to say goodnight, Steve?
Good night, everybody.
You want to say goodnight, Gracie? Good night, Gracie.
Now that I get
See you, everybody. There we go.